The followers of Christ should be as lights in the world.
I was able to apply BYU's motto, enter to learn and go forth to serve. Because I was in Italy, spending time with a variety of different types of people, I was able to share what I learned at BYU, the skills I learned here, as well as the beliefs and values that we have here at BYU with people all around the world.
I worked with many international students from different countries, and I'm very impressed with the BYU student, and they're willing to work, eager to learn, and their curiosity to know more and to help the community. They are really awesome people.
Whenever I get an applicant from a BYU student, I'm particularly pleased because I know I know the quality I'm going to get, and I know the skill sets I'm going to get.
I would love to continue getting students from the humanities department at BYU. They're excellent for us. My plan is to not just have them as an interns, but also to hire them to U.S. translation company. Their language skills are excellent. Many of them actually have lived in Peru even as missionaries. So they understand also the culture.
One of the first things that they say is, we love your students. Their language abilities surpass those of other students from universities around the United States.
When I needed some people recently who were bilingual, I immediately went back and looked at the interns who had worked for me before and tried to find out if there were people available, and went to the directors of the intern program to see if there were any others that were available that I had not met yet, because all of the people that we had been very quality people.
Our students are seeing that, in fact, if they're going to be able to compete with other students from these top-tier universities for graduate school slots or positions in businesses or in government, whatever it may be, they have to have the credentials. And these internships give them the necessary credentials to be able to compete on an even level playing field.
I'm super grateful for the opportunity to have gone to France as a part of a career building experience. The internship helped me learn how to interact with people that expect professionalism from, not just from me, but from my language. My mission to France is actually the reason that I decided to study international relations. I loved getting to know the people in that culture and just to feel the spirit of that people. And it's just a special place. Even though I went there professionally, I was blessed spiritually. The internship really has been invaluable for building me as a person and for getting me ready to get a real career, support a family.
The benefit of an internship is it's just so broadening. You might think you know Argentina or Bolivia from serving a missionary, and you probably do. But you don't know the Argentina and Bolivia of the professional life or in your field. And it's a whole other world that I think that the university really ought to seek to expose them to beyond what they experience as a missionary, because if they work professionally, they're going to need to know that other world. Beyond sort of just the resume building that it does, and I won't discount that at all, I just think they also leave as a broader, more developed, more world-wise individual, better able to integrate all the things they've learned and apply them to real-life situations in a way that you probably couldn't replicate through many other experiences.
Doing an internship made it so that I could view Japan in a whole new light, a very different perspective than I got as a missionary. The internship was critical in me being able to get a job as quickly as I did, to have something to take to the table to show that I had learned and I'd had some experience in a business environment that I was trying to get into. I do think there's a lot of value in having internships, especially as humanities students. My internship did show that I was able to function and succeed in those a little bit more science-oriented type of capacities while getting the benefits that I got from my humanities degree of learning about effective communication, about being able to analyze things and look at it from a little bit outside the box, be a little bit more creative.
I'm so grateful for my internship. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It was worth every penny that I spent. I learned so much about myself and about the world and about people in general and about why I have the values I do. Specifically my language skills that I learned here, and also my my knowledge of the art world was very helpful to me. Being a BYU student, I was able to kind of have an impact on the people around me. I got a lot of questions on my internship about my values and about my beliefs, and I was able to share them with the people there. Humanities students need internships because we study the arts. We study the effects of culture in every time period and place, and particularly with international internships, you're able to actually see those places and see the arts in those areas and see how they're still prevalent in culture today. Yeah, my internship will definitely help me get a job because I have more experience in the art world, I have more language experience, I have more experience working with different types of people and different personalities, and all those things are going to contribute to my ability to find jobs in the future.
It's essential for every student to do an internship. The number one reason is because this is an international economy now. Companies are looking for people that have international experience. I really am grateful for where I am right now in my job. I think it's going to lead to a great career path. It all started with my mission in Taiwan, where I was able to learn the language. And then I was able to continue that study at BYU, and then I think that my internship was the capstone. I not only got to learn some of the language applicable to the job, but also I had the opportunity to learn Chinese business culture as well. So I'd have to say that I definitely got the job because of my internship. That was the number one highlight that set me apart. They've actually gone through several people in my position that hasn't really worked out because, you know, they didn't really understand the difference between Chinese and American business culture, and so I think it's making a difference with, you know, my experience in China.
And what our research shows is that students that have solid mastery of their discipline, coupled with real work experiences as well as study abroad and civic engagement, do better when they transition into their first jobs and early career success than those students that don't have those experiences.
Employers usually look for experience and they are hesitant about job-changing candidates or fresh graduates. And internships, especially the international internships, provide this kind of experience, whether it is applying what the students have learned in academic classes into reality. They are more able to come up with practical solutions.
I receive dozens of resumes every day. One of the very difficult things is that when you open the resumes, it shows the education, but it shows no experience. Or if it shows experience, it shows no relevant experience. So for me, I cannot hire people that way because the time to train them it will be longer, which it will be more costly for me. However, when they have worked at the consulate and they have been committed for 4 months, putting this number of hours, it tells me many things. Number one, the commitment, their discipline. Number two, the importance of valuing service. And number three, that they understand how to work with other cultures and the importance of communication and language. So for me, they have an advantage over anybody else when it comes to hiring. That's why I always go with the interns that I have at the consulate when it's time to hire for the translation company.
Internships set students up for their career in two ways. One is it lets a student test drive a career a little bit. If they're lucky enough to get an internship in a field that they're interested in, it lets them experience it for real instead of in a theoretical way. And you can't place a value on that. But the other thing it does is if this is a career that they want to associate themselves with later, they've built connections and networks, and they're much more able to then make a compelling case for being hired in this career because they've been able to demonstrate that they're successful in doing the sorts of tasks that will be given to them if they're hired in that career.
I was really grateful for the scholarship because it minimizes a little bit of what I have to pay back later, what I have to worry about in the future. You don't always get all of the financial aid you need, and I definitely saw the scholarship as being absolutely essential for just surviving in France. It was an unpaid internship, which I'm willing to do, but it was very helpful to get some help from the school because I firmly believe that these kind of internships is what builds BYU abroad. It's an investment for me, but it's also an investment for the school.
I was not backed by family as far as financial means went, and so, you know, scholarships and those types of things provided a way for me to actually succeed and get an education, to continue my education. The The internship was something that I didn't have the opportunity to have funding for, but it was something that I knew was an investment, and it would have been a huge help to have had that. I think that probably keeps a good number of students back from exploring those options. Just the application process alone for these internships is quite expensive, several $100s, which for a struggling college student that's going almost broke every semester, that's unreachable. And I do think that hurdle, if that could be removed, that we'd have a lot more students that would rise up and embrace the opportunity.
I had been wanting to go to Italy since I first started taking Italian lessons at BYU, and I was really concerned about not being able to go because I really didn't have the financial means to go. But after speaking with the humanities department, I found that there were different financial resources available, and because of those I was able to go when I otherwise wouldn't have been able to.
Some of them, we have a lot of students that would love to come and do the internship, but they cannot because they don't have the financial resources to do it. Although many of them, I think, will do a very good job, but again, the financials are not there.
If I had it my way, of course, I would love for every student to be able to have this kind of opportunity in one way or another, so as to be able to bridge their university education at home with the professional world. The internship is that bridge. It gives them that needed experience to be able to go out there and compete with people from many different walks of life, and to be able to give them an edge in that competition.
I know that my internship was life-altering for me, and it would very directly led to the path of the career I'm on now, which has been a successful career. And I would hope that BYU would find other ways to create similar opportunities for this generation of students, that they'll have the opportunity to either return to cultures where they previously worked as missionaries or experience new cultures in a way that allow them to broaden themselves intellectually, but also professionally. I just think it'd be to the benefit of the students, but also to the benefit of the institution. We have a great story to tell. The university's primary export is its students. It's a wonderful export. It needs to be out there, and they need to be we want to cover the earth.
The coupling of that sort of intensive liberal arts education with that real-world pre-professional experience makes for an excellent combination for our students. And as a result, oftentimes they're highly sought after by companies, universities, government agencies, and so forth.
Thanks to my internship in France, I was able to go back to be among the people that I loved, serving as a missionary. I'm grateful just to have been able to do a professional experience among the same people.
Thanks to my internship in Italy, I see people in a different way. I see the world with a different perspective, and I even understand the art that I've studied with new eyes.
Thanks to my internship, I was able to get a good job. Doors were open for me, doors that otherwise would not have been there.
It provided a lot of experience and substance to my resume that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Without that internship experience, I don't think that I would really understand what it means to enter to learn and go forth to serve.